show. The fairy tale is complete. The Central Coast Mariners, champions of Australia.
Good evening, Australian football fans, and welcome to Amy Park on the land of the Wurundjeri people for this rescheduled round 12 match of the Isuzu Ute A-League between Melbourne Victory, the home side, and their crosstown rivals, Western United. It's a rescheduled catch-up match for these two sides who are playing catch-up this evening. Melbourne Victory, 6 games ago, was sitting equal top of the table alongside Wellington Phoenix. But with 5 wins and a loss since then, they have slipped to 4th, 8 points adrift of the Knicks. But they have an opportunity to get back to winning ways against a Western United side riding the crest of a wave at the moment after finally getting that 3rd win of the season. It's a big night for Tomoki Imai. We'll get to that one in a moment as he leads the side out for his 100th A-League appearance. Western United, who have announced they will be heading to their new home of Tarneit before the end of the season. The women earmarked to be playing there, hopefully against Newcastle on the 17th of March. And they got that win over Newcastle last time out by 2-0, and they have beaten Melbourne Victory in each of the last 3 meetings between these two sides. They have an excellent record against their crosstown rivals, and if they can get up this evening, it will be the 50th win of their 127-match A-League existence. Well, Tony Popovic wasn't impressed with all the individual performances from his side in the scoreless Melbourne derby at the weekend. With a quick turnaround from last Saturday, 4 changes in total. Stefan Negro replaces Connor Chapman in defence. Zinedine Mashash is dropped for the first time this season as Jake Brimmer returns. And up front, Bruno Fornaroli, who'll play with protection on that broken bone in his left hand. And Ben Falami come in for Daniel Arzani and Eli Adams, who drops out of the matchday squad entirely. And it's a 100th A-League start for Jake Brimmer this evening, the former Liverpool youth product. He's scored 3 of his 15 A-League goals against Western United. It's his best return against any opposition. While for Western United, John Aloisi's side is struggling with suspension and injury. He's without a host of regular first-team players. He's made another 4 changes as he looks for back-to-back wins for the first time this term. James Donachie and Josh Risdon are suspended, so Kane Vidmar returns, and Koda Kadur makes his A-League debut, the 10th A-League debutant for Western United this season. In midfield, Stephen Lustica is back after 3 matches on the sideline with injury as Seb Pasquale makes way. And up front, Michael Roos is reinstated, with Matthew Grimaldi making his way to the bench. And he led them out this evening wearing the captain's armband. Tomoki Imai, he's within 5 A-League matches of Connor Payne, but in all competitions this is his 106th appearance for Western United. Connor Payne sits on 108 with cup matches included. So it won't be long before Tomoki Imai has all the outright records to himself. Tony Popovic, well, he did not cut a happy figure after the Melbourne derby. 6 matches without a win for his side, who have scored first and failed to win 5 times this season. He's up against his former Socceroos and Sydney FC teammate in John Aloisi. The smile's almost back on the face of John Aloisi and his coaching staff after that win last weekend. Jonathan Barrero is our referee this evening. He's being assisted by Daniel Ilievski and Peter Jaworski. Adam Bavkar is the 4th official. Chris Griffith-Jones is in the VAR room on this Tuesday night. Well, defences have been on top for Melbourne Victory in recent weeks. Bruno Fornaroli can perhaps bring back that goal-scoring charm against a Western United side who have struggled to find the back of the net so far this season. Perhaps that drought, Grace Gill, joining us in the commentary position this evening, was broken last weekend with that solid win over the Newcastle Jets. It's certainly a win that Western United needed desperately.
Well, thanks, Robbie. Great to be here for some midweek football as well. But you're right, that 3 points couldn't be more important for John Aloisi's side. I know we keep saying it, but these games and the results are starting to feel more important than ever, particularly for Tony Popovic. Turning some of those draws into the full 3 points has a lot of weight behind it.
Absolutely massive for Melbourne victory, who do have the best defence in the land. They've conceded fewer shots on target. They've conceded just 7 first-half goals this entire season, but they haven't been putting sides away, and they've paid the price, particularly in recent weeks, where those 5 draws and that loss to MacArthur, ironically, perhaps paradoxically, it was probably their best performance against MacArthur, where Bruno Fornaroli returned and had chances, including a penalty. And the youngster, Koda Kadur, with his first intervention in the top flight, put under real pressure there from Jake Brimmer, who wins a set piece. And the first corner of the match. John Aloisi, he's been forced to give the kids their run this season. Kadur, the 10th rather, as Brimmer's ball in towards the back post, and that's a good punch from Heward Bell. Played back in. Heward Bell makes a good claim. It was Ryan Teague actually with the left-footed corner. I was just going to say, Kadur is the 10th debutant player for Western United this season. There's a host of teenagers on the bench as well, and whether it's by design or necessity, they are building for the future, as Guerrier has dived in there on Michael Roos, and the flag finally goes up for offside.
Well, it's a huge opportunity for those young players. Little handball as well. Michael Roos has gone to ground there. Solid defending from Guerrier. But for the young players, the turnover in the squad, John Aloisi obviously backs the talent, the depth that he's bringing in.
The question is, can they step up for a solitary match? Invariably they can. It's then the consistency and the demands of professional football at the highest level. A match on a weekend, then a catch-up game in midweek, especially with those suspensions to some big players, as that was enterprising football from Fabien Monge, striding forward into midfield. First time ball for Valupale, and a good challenge from Kadur. Silva with Miranda and Guerrier, 3 players that came in for praise from Tony Popovic post-match in the derby. It certainly painted a picture of what was a scoreless draw, where defences were on top. They restricted Melbourne City to very little going forward. De Silva long, looking for Fornaroli, and wasn't too far away from getting there.
Well, early doors, but I can already see Western United just sitting in their defensive shape when Victory do have the ball. There's a bit of a question mark over exactly what Daniel Peña's role would look like. He's been pushing a little more centrally in recent weeks, but tonight out wide again on the right. So interesting to see how that one shakes out.
Played a central role in their 2 most recent victories this season as well, against Brisbane. Mind you, there was a long time between drinks, and again against Newcastle on Friday, as the ball from Teague, looking to get in behind towards Ben Falami, who returns after a couple of starts, was on the bench for the derby, and is back in the starting 11 this evening. It will be interesting to see if they can get Daniel Peña on the football. That clearance by Vidmar, it's not the most convincing. Brimmer with Monge. Now Brimmer's been bundled over there by Thurgate. Referee has allowed the advantage, which doesn't come to anything. Stefan Negro, another who's recalled to the starting 11, the first time in 3 matches for Negro. Onge again, back with Da Silva. Brimmer. Victory enjoyed the lion's share of possession and outshot Melbourne City 3 shots to 1. They're looking to put the foot on the ball here in these opening 5 minutes as well. If they can break their goal drought, Melbourne Victory, because it's been 2 matches now in which they've failed to score. Before that, it was only 1 goal in each of their previous 4 matches, all of them 1-1 draws. So 4 goals in 6 games is not a good enough return for a side wanting to compete at the top of the table.
Not at all, and given the quality they've got, they should be far more productive with that finishing, as I'm sure the players themselves are acutely aware.
That's a great ball from Miranda for Valupale against Cador. Valupale still one way then the other, chips it back. Thurgate's defensive header is a good one. Botic back defending on the edge of his own area, along with Michael Roos. It's driven back in though. Falami leaping with the Centurion, Tomaki Imai. And Imai again with the long clearance. So, his captain Miranda. Garia continues to fill in at left back in the absence of Adama Traore, who's missing with that hamstring strain. Franco Lino, the young teenager who's made a couple of appearances at left back this season, not in the matchday squad today. Neither is Salim Khalifi, who came off the bench in the last 3 matches. Also missing out again, or not yet 100% fit, is Rolly Bonavancia, the former Wellington Phoenix and Western Sydney Wanderer, who's just signed for the club.
I mentioned a host of changes, 4 for each side, but tight turnarounds, just 4 days since their last fixtures.
Brimmer gets it straight back off Shamoon, and then Brimmer! Ooh! Well, the reaction of Hewitt Bell was to just stand and watch, and that looked as though that was very, very close.
That was neat from Jake Brimmer. A little drop of the shoulder, a shift of the weight. Look at the movement on that ball. Just swaying outside the far post, and Hewitt Bell well and truly stuck on the spot, can only stand and watch in awe. It's got moments like that, Brimmer, moments of quality, moments of individual brilliance, and perhaps for Tony Popovic's side, it's going to come down to some of those finding the back of the net.
Well, Hewitt Bell made a number of impressive saves, particularly to deny Stamatopoulos late on as Newcastle pressed for a way back into the game last Friday. But it was a very, very welcome win, and perhaps not just coincidentally, it was a win here at Amy Park, where they have a fantastic record actually, as Valupale has gone down. Their record away to Melbourne Victory is 5 wins and 1 draw in 7 meetings. Victory have only got 1 home win against Western United in their previous 13 meetings, home and away. And they've won the last 3. All 3 of their wins have come in matches here at Amy Park. They've only played 4. Their 4th match was a narrow 2-1 defeat to Melbourne City. having beaten them 2-1 on the opening day of the season. They then beat Brisbane and then Newcastle here at the weekend. So they like playing here. Hopefully they'll enjoy playing in Tarneet just as much before the season's out.
It's a huge turning point in their club. John Lewis, he spoke about it across the last couple of weeks, just how important having that home identity, being able to build more of a fan base. And Tarneet should lend itself to exactly that.
There you see how much Melbourne Victory are dominating proceedings at the moment. Possession is one-way traffic, passes in opposition half as well, but Negro's given it away there. Thurgate, can they hit on a quick transition? Lachie Wales, who's approaching his own 100th A-League match for Western United. Lachie Wales shoots, and it's a comfortable one for Paul Izzo.
Well, this looks to be how Western United are going to set up today, allowing Victory time on the ball, possession, and just hitting on the counter like they did with that last opportunity.
Here they come again. Wales has got Bottage ahead of him. Maybe doesn't need him. He was slicing through the Melbourne Victory backline. Cador back with Vidmar. When you look at that backline, no Donachie, no Garuccio, no Risdon. It's Imai and three of the kids. Kane Vidmar in his first A-League season, making his 8th appearance. He's a lieutenant in the middle to Tomoki Imai as Cador is fouled, and there's a yellow card there for Nishan Velupillay.
Just leaving that trailing leg in. Velupillay, he did try and turn out of the challenge, but nonetheless just clips the foot.
He started the season in electric form. Nishan Velupillay alongside the free-scoring Bruno Fornaroli. And Larzani was setting it alight on the opposite flank, and we thought the goals were going to flow, but they've dried up. Coincided with Bruno Fornaroli heading off to Qatar with the Socceroos, but his return hasn't seen the taps turn back on. Now Brimmer being chased by Thurgate. Brimmer still going. Velupillay is coming inside for the little touch off. Brimmer looked for him wide, and it's those little misunderstandings that can start to cause frustration.
I think the frustration is already there, and those moments just can gradually tether over time. The response is important from this point.
Well, they have to stay calm, they have to stay pragmatic. I'm sure that's one of the messages from Tony Popovic, but we did see him just lose his cool a little bit at the weekend as well. There is pressure on this Melbourne Victory side. They had a difficult season last year after a first very promising campaign under Tony Popovic, and it's the draws that have cost them so dearly. Imai with Charbel Shamoun. Imai again. Oh, he's played himself into trouble there. A little touch from Fabien Monge, who gets through a mountain of work in the middle of the park. Just couldn't lay it off for Falami.
Well, good pressure shown by Victory. Just a couple of moments, Western United labouring on their touches. Just a breath too long. Imai the last of those just to get picked off. It's afforded Victory a good opportunity, good chance for a corner. Try and capitalise on a moment here.
This time it is Brimmer to take. In front of the Western service crew, the active support. Back post, Guerrier. It's bouncing around. Oh, Thurgate just got the all-important touch. As they were winding up to blast that one home, it's Very good intervention in the end, but it's back in again. De Silva's header looked like it was heading towards that far top corner. Stuart Bell read it well enough. And how about that for a clearance? Ruse just taking it on the head instead of letting it bounce or on the chest.
It was a good centering header there from Jason Guerrier. But the all-important clearance, so necessary. We know Western United's season of conceding against corners, or from corners rather, hasn't been the best. It's probably putting it kindly.
They have conceded more goals from headers than any other side in the competition. More goals from corners than any other side in the competition. As Teague just blasted it into Wales, it fell kindly for Noah Botic. Imai with Pena. That's a clever little disguised pass for Shamoun. Pena again, the Brazilian. And another little reverse pass for Wales this time. That's where you want Pena, whether it's on the right or in the middle, but pulling strings, making these deceptive passes to open up space for colleagues. Thurgate's ball is a good one, and Botic can only pop it up in the air. Ooh, as Ruse goes flying in. It looked spectacular. Was it all ball? Well, not sure he got too much of the player in the end. It certainly looked dangerous. I'm not sure how dangerous it was.
Well, after what was a good build-up from Western United, some handy footwork from Pena, this is a little reckless from Ruse. He's just flying in there. Unnecessary at that point in the field. Sure, close your player down, put pressure on the ball. That one could have been dangerous.
Well, don't touch him, is what you can read on the lips of Michael Ruse. Throwing yourself about like that in a reckless manner, you invite, I guess, the referee to make that decision.
We do, but what we just were highlighted, that last passage of play, Daniel Pena on the ball is where he needs to be, pulling the strings for Western United.
Now Balupale's cross was a good one as well. Vidmar's glancing header gets it away to Pena. Similar role, needing Pena on the ball, probably as Melbourne Victory fans would like to see Jake Brimmer on the ball. He's in that more advanced role. Earlier this season he was more in a number 6 role alongside Teague when he did come on. He hasn't been a regular starter at all, but at least with Mashash on the bench, it's Brimmer in that role, a little more advanced in midfield.
We saw some tidy early touches in that midfield combination between Brimmer, Teague, Monge, really good touches in the middle of the park, and Ryan Teague is one who has impressed this season well and truly. The 22-year-old is playing with such a level of confidence and maturity and composure in the middle of the park.
He did spend a season overseas in Greece with Zanti, the club coached by Tony Popovic. Then Fabian Monge when he was a youngster returned. Was in MPL last year with Apia Leikartas. It's a clever little pass from Falami for Brimmer, and the foul by Lustica. Brimmer with the right boot, Teague with the left. It's Brimmer that's placed the ball. He's having a look at the angles. The defenders are up. Falami's there as well. Fornaroli, it's in towards De Silva. It's an own goal. I think it's Kane Vidmar, but the flag is up for offside and it won't count. The referee just coming across to confirm, because no Victory player got a touch.
Well, if so, that's a lifeline there for Western United. Referee Jonathan Barrero just having a chat, and it will be offside. Western United getting out of jail free on that occasion.
Well, there's no denying that he was playing at the ball. Damien De Silva. Perhaps he was just ever so slightly in an offside position, so despite the fact he didn't get the touch, is irrelevant. He tried to. And that put off Kane Vidmar, who could only turn it into the back of his own net. But it's a big let-off for Western United. As much as anything, don't give away set pieces when you have a terrible record of conceding goals from set pieces. Oh, and here's a yellow card for Tomoki Imai in his 100th A-League match.
Yeah, you see Studge just on top of the boot there. He's looking for the ball, but a little clumsy there by Imai. 3 yellow cards in this opening 20 minutes, and you've just spoken about not conceding set pieces from this area of the field. The delivery on the last one from Brimmer was excellent. Good numbers into the box. I'll be looking to replicate a similar situation.
Ten goals conceded by corners, 2 from indirect free kicks, 14 goals conceded by set pieces. Newcastle the next worst with 11 and Perth with 10. But Western United, this has been, I'd say, their Achilles heel, except that they've had a couple so far this season. One of their Achilles heels. Brimmer's delivery is a good one towards Miranda. Back in from Falami. Fornaroli was there. Brimmer quick to close down Pena. Now Ryan Teague. Midway through the first half, it has not brought us a goal between two sides that are not the free-scoring sides of the A-League. Balou-play, but it's not been for a want of trying. Each side with their own tactics. Melbourne Victory dominating possession, relying on set pieces and placed attacks. Here's another one with Western United with plenty of numbers back. Falami running it. Shamoon. Brimmer's little touch. Balou-play was there, so was Fornaroli. Western United doing plenty of defending at the moment.
Well, that one almost caught every player off guard on that occasion. Another corner. Western United just absorbing pressure again and again. This bundled its way through to the 6-yard box. Pador, well, looked like he almost didn't expect it to reach him.
And he didn't want it anywhere near him. Anywhere will do. Brimmer's ball in is a good one, the header! Oh, it was a good leap. And now Monge with Balou-play. Monge trying to run it down. He's plunged into that challenge on Kane Vidmar, who's taken a knock to the nose as well as a boot to the ankle. Let's head down to Michael Zapponi, who's on the sidelines at Amy Park this evening for a beautiful summer's night, Zappers.
Yeah, it's a cracking day in Melbourne today. Currently 26 degrees. And there, speaking of Caden Vidmar, is his dad, Tony Vidmar, alongside Ben Calfala as well, former Melbourne Victory player. And Tony Vidmar, of course, part of the Socceroos coaching staff at the Asian Cup. Watching closely as his son Kane plays tonight. The Ollie Roos, he's the head coach there as well, and they've got an important tournament coming up, the AFC Under-23 tournament, which doubles as qualifiers for the Paris Olympic Games as well. So Vidmar, of course, keeping an eye out on some of those under-23s this evening as well.
Thank you, Zappers. Yes, massive tournament coming up for the Ollie Roos. We would love to have them in Paris. The Matildas have their chance to book their place in a double-headed tie against Uzbekistan. Coming up this Saturday in Tashkent, 8 p.m. on Network 10. Paramount Plus, and then that's the 24th of February, then 8 p.m. on the 28th of February at Marvel Stadium in Melbourne. It's already a sellout, so if you haven't got your tickets, clear the diary for Wednesday the 28th of February to catch that, as well as the free kick is taken quickly with Falami. A little touch off with Guerrier. The cross back in, and Tomoki Imai doing an excellent defensive job. victory. Right on top here. Brimmer seeing a lot of the football. Now Pena. Guerria, who's playing in that unfamiliar left-back role, but doing it pretty well at the moment.
Well, smart from Victory to take that free kick quickly. Just dictates the terms, the tempo and pace that the game's been played. But for all their possession and for all their good work going forward, Victory just struggling to fashion a really decent chance on goal.
Three yellow cards so far. There's Negro. Good challenge by Kaddour. That will do his confidence the world of good. His heart will be pounding still. The youngster, just 20 years of age, his first ever A-League start. He came through the ranks at Whittlesea. Then headed to Melbourne City as a 17-year-old before joining Western United for these last 2 seasons. Monge again putting the pressure on. Well, there have been injuries this season, but John Aloisi hasn't been afraid to give the kids their debuts, 10 of them this season. Here's Velupile, that's under hit for Fornaroli. Oh, as Thurgate goes diving in, he's caught Brimmer. Now we're going to see another card here. This is the danger when you go flying to ground like this. At the moment, Thurgate's got a talking to. And that's all.
Yeah, look, they're dangerous areas too. Just sticks a leg out in the challenge in the last one there. And if the first 2 free kicks weren't dangerous, well, this one is in an even more threatening position.
I think Angus Thurgate just saw his challenge on the big screen and he's asking the referee if it should even be a free kick. But it has been given. And Jake Brimmer, who scored 3 goals in this fixture, the most he's scored against any other A-League opponent, is eyeing off number 4 here. They're not allowed to have opposition players in the wall. Remember, famously, that free kick ruled out last season. It is Brimmer. It's around the wall. Oh. And for the second time this evening, Jake Brimmer has seen an effort fly just past Heward Bell's post.
Well, they're coming off his boot really well. That does not miss by much. Wonderful technique to clear the wall, just can't quite get the shape around the ball to see it into the net. See him frustrated at himself, but feels as though it's just getting closer and closer for Jake Brimmer.
Fabien Monge with Guerria. That's perhaps no surprise. The 2 best chances so far have come from set pieces. Had the ball in the back of the net only for a very, very fine but correct offside call against Damien De Silva that just before Kane Vidmar turned the ball into his own net. Heward Bell again looking long for the hard-running Michael Roos. That's a fantastic pass. I mean, it's Route 1 football, which sometimes doesn't get the plaudits it deserves, but that's the second time he has launched the ball perfectly 60 metres into space for Michael Roos.
Ultimately led to a corner as well, but that distribution from the goalkeeper is excellent. Bypassing the midfield, bypassing a lot of opposition players, and when you've got a runner like Michael Roos at the end of it, you've got to mix it up.
And when you've also been playing in your final third for minute after minute, and nearly all your players are back defending on their own penalty box, it doesn't do any harm whatsoever to get the ball up the other end. irrespective of how it gets there. Pena drives it in. It's a good ball as well. Izzo punches. Cador with Thurgate bending it, and that's a good stop from Izzo, who saw it late. It was bending viciously and it needed tipping over the crossbar.
A lovely little shift of the hips there from Angus Thurgate. That's a top draw save from Izzo. He hasn't had very long to look at that at all. And had a spectacular dip on the strike as well. Rest assured, Izzo not got a strong hand to that. That was finding its way to the back of the net.
Now, any Victory player is going to help out Izzo there because he's surrounded by... Oh, and it's in the back of the net! And referee says no, there was a push on Paul Izzo. Thurgate doesn't like it. Is it going to be checked? Now, I thought it was strange as they prepared for that corner because Paul Izzo was surrounded by Western United players.
Well, there's a lot of traffic bustling around Paul Izzo, just trying to clear his arms. He shouted that he had his arm held by a player.
And play is continuing. And Western United are trying to put lots of pressure on inside the box, so clearly there was a push. I suspect it's adjudged to have been Michael Roos, who was the closest of four players in very close proximity to Paul Izzo. We know you're not allowed to touch a goalkeeper inside that 6-yard box, so some will say they're wrapped up in cotton wool. Some might say that perhaps Victory should have done more to protect their goalkeeper in that situation.
Mindful too, that last little spell from Western United all came from a key piece of distribution playing out from Thomas Heward-Bell. And for a little period there, Western United enjoyed a foray in their attacking third.
Fornaroli, that's what Fornaroli does best, really making a nuisance of himself, throwing himself at everything, even if it means horizontally on one leg, as Roderick Miranda is found. Well, both sides have had the ball in the back of the net in this first half, both ruled out for marginal fouls, shall we say. But I'm sure both sets of defences will say the correct decision was made. Guerrier with the big switch. Lupale's touch just got away from him a little bit. You can see Lockie Wales encouraging the youngster Cador. Now Botic has got the better of Teague. He was on the score sheet against Newcastle. Well, that's a fantastic pass from Pena. An arrow into the feet of Botic, but surrounded by navy blue, and Ryan Teague on the charge. Shamoon with Thurgate again. Pena back for Thurgate. Across in. Now appeals for a hand there. Was it inside the box or outside? Corner given for the moment.
Well, so far Western United's best attack is coming down this right-hand side.
Well, might have been in the box. I'm sure VAR will be having a look at it. Lockie Wales has just brought it to the referee's attention because he's seen it again. Daniel Pena is walking towards the penalty spot. He's not taking any corners. As VAR are having a look, Daniel Pena's already made up his mind. Now, I'm not saying the arm was away from the body. I'm not saying it was in an unnatural position, but it does look to me inside the box. And I think it's away from the body. We'll see if there's another angle. Corner, says the referee.
Well, interesting one there from the angle we saw. If there was another sort of available, whether it was off the chest, off the arm, inconclusive from there.
Yeah, perhaps that's why they stay with the referee's on-field decision. This time you can see De Silva and Miranda are back helping out the protection of their keeper. They've learnt that lesson. As Pena delivers. In it comes near post. It's a good ball again. It's Fornaroli with the header. Back from Lustica. Oh, Izzo, he spilt it, misunderstanding with De Silva. But he claims it in the end.
A couple of nervy moments for Melbourne Victory. Western United just building back into the game somewhat, creating a couple of attacking opportunities themselves.
And it's set pieces that are providing the danger at the moment. Perhaps Fornaroli can change that. With Valupale across the face, Fornaroli! Oh, cleared up the line. Brilliant from Vidmar. Now, Victory player has thrown himself to ground there. It's Brimmer. Negro now as play continues. Well, Bruno Fornaroli so close to getting his 14th goal of the season. He's seen the likes of Stamatolopoulos. And Adam Taggart come flying up the goal-scoring charts to try and catch him. He'd love a goal. And knowing Bruno, he'd love it for the team more than for himself, even if he lives off scoring goals. Lustica with Peña on his left foot. He doesn't need a second invitation to shoot either.
This is another look at it. It fell ever so kindly to Bruno Fornaroli. And how about that? The desperation defence, just bodies throwing themselves at it. This is another look at the one that was scratched off from Angus Thurgate. He got himself into a good position at that far post.
Now Peña again waiting for the overlapping run from Charbel Shamoun. It was a little bit late in coming. Lustica with a hit and hope. And now Brimmer. Valupale, caught ball watching. Just to complete that goal-scoring chart, Angel Torres, Costa Barbarouses and Valère Germain all in double figures as well. What has been and what will almost certainly be the most prolific season in the history of the Isuzu Ute League. Silva with the back pass to Izzo. Here's Thurgate. Peña again, and that left foot spraying the ball around. Wales one-on-one with Negro. Wales comes inside. That's what he was trying to do, but he can't pull it off on that occasion. Lockie Wales, who was on the score sheet in that famous 4-1 win here in the semi-final, second leg 2 years ago, as Western United swept all before them on their way to that grand final triumph. Izzo, you can't afford any heavy touches with Michael Roos around. Cador, nicely done. Thurgate gets away from Monge. Peña, back. Now, was he dragged back? There was just enough of a tug on the shirt from Fabien Monge, and we've seen what Victory can do with free kicks from this kind of range. Do you think Daniel Peña will be eyes lit up at this one?
Well, he's quick to get his hands on the ball, Daniel Peña, and understandably so. But again, it just has the feeling as though Western United are building back into this, spending a little bit more time in their attacking half. Some good forward runs from Lockie Wales, good touches in the middle from Thurgate. And this is a decent position on the field for a free kick. It has to be a pretty special strike to challenge Paul Izzo in the form that he is in.
Well, Daniel Peña, he scored a Panenka penalty at the weekend, which shows his confidence. And now he's lining this one up. the Brazilian. He's had a good first season, if not exceptional, with Western United, and that was a real missile that went fizzing over the top of Paul Izzo's crossbar.
Well, that would have been a special strike had it found its way into the back of the net. Absolutely fizzed that. What an angle that is. That does not miss by much. Some real venom behind that.
Well, he scored 4 so far this season, 2 penalties in that, as again Melbourne Victory invite the press. Teague with Guerrier. Melbourne Victory just reassert themselves in control of this one. Not on that occasion. Again, Brimmer can't get there. A shake of the head as Pena looks to go from distance. Izzo. Well, he's being made to work by Daniel Pena at the moment.
I don't mind that from Pena at all. He just puts a little bit of hesitation into the minds of the Victory players. They're starting to stretch the field a little more and change up their approach. Western United, we've seen a couple of goal kicks now for Victory that they've started really high, trying to win the ball back further up in the field, and now they're just settling back into that defensive structure. Now, that's cheeky from Pena.
Cheeky and hugely ambitious, but you can see the confidence of Western United's number 11. Negro with Teague and back with Damien De Silva. Roderick Miranda, 2 minutes to go in this first half. Guerrier over the top for Falami. He can't keep it in play. Hasn't seen too much of the football, Ben Falami, in the first half. Has had to deal with the competition for places in that front line. Bruno Fornaroli is really the only undisputed player up front. Arzani is on the bench tonight. Mashash as well for the first time this season. So Tony Popovic is saying there are plenty of matches and you have to be able to compete at the highest level to be in the side. Rotation up front. Oh, as Lupele is collected there by Thurgate.
It's a good point about the subs as well. It also changes the complexion of the kind of player that can come on, the impact they can make. The goals that are sitting on the bench for Melbourne Victory this evening. Some really good options for Tony Popovic's side to come on and make an impact.
Teague does well to pounce on that clever but ultimately in vain pass from Pena for Lustica. Now Falami, he's got Lupele just in the middle. Can't find the option now. Fabien Monge arriving. Headed away by Tomoki Imai. Oh, the heavy touch from Thurgate. Lupele with Brimmer. Fornaroli peeling off, he wants it and he's not going to get it because Lockie Wales has it. He's got Pena on the right. He brings Guerrier inside, it opens up the space for Daniel Pena, who puts it on his left. Oh, and the pass is behind everyone. They had 4 forward. Cruz wanted it in the air.
Fabien Monge as well looks to be struggling a little bit, labouring under his own foot. And a bit of discomfort, whether it was a heavy challenge or we'll keep an eye on that one for the next couple of minutes. Just struggled to get back into position with a bit of a limp.
Well, we'll see if he returns for the second half as Falami gets the ball towards Fornaroli at the back post. Imai is also limping a little bit at the back. As Teague cleans up for Victory again. Into the final seconds of regulation time in this first half. Brimmer. 2 minutes of stoppage time. Brimmer again. Everyone behind the ball. for Western United. They are hard to break down. They got that first clean sheet of the season last Friday. It's certainly given them some certainties to build their foundations on this evening. The certainties are get everyone back and defend, even with all these youngsters they've got on the pitch. Valami again. Well, the proof is there, and it's not just this evening. Melbourne Victory are struggling in that final third. Their best chances have come from set pieces. The ball they did have in the back of the net came off the Western United defender, Kane Vidmar, ruled out for offside. And their final pass very rarely finds a teammate.
And it's the ability to break down a deep line defence with that final bit of play, the quality and the execution. And if you are going to rely on set pieces and corners, well, you have to capitalise. If that's going to be your route to goal, you have to find the back of the net, find a way through a lot of traffic.
Wales, it's his turn to be a little over-ambitious with the pass. Victory faithful who made fantastic noise inside this stadium on Saturday night in the derby. For Valami to chase. Oh, he's done very well. Oh. Well, he still did very well, even though it's beaten him out of play. That's the final action of the first half. The goals are still proving hard to come by for Melbourne Victory and Western United. Both sides had the ball in the back of the net, both ruled out and disallowed. It's been entertaining enough for Tony Vidmar, who saw his son, Kane, score that own goal, only for it to be ruled out for offside alongside former Victory man Fahid Ben Khalfallah. Half-time here at Amy Park. Melbourne Victory 0, Western United 0. And we will be back after this commercial break with the half-time show. Don't go away.
turning Australia purple and making aviation history. Loads of new routes, so Aussies can explore their own beautiful backyard. Come on, Australia. Pack your budgies.
MacArthur sitting in third. Bernardo skips past a couple to the edge of the box. Jed Drew! And MacArthur can start looking towards the zonal final.
Now Storm-Roo, this is nice football. The cutback, Edmondson has his first goal for the Central Coast Mariners. And doesn't he enjoy it?
Welcome back to the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Amy Park, a few boos started to ring out on the halftime whistle. Melbourne Victory fans not too happy with what they've seen in the first half, and the story is a similar one. What we've seen from Melbourne Victory over the last month: failure to score, failure to create too many chances, and failure to get a result. Will that continue in the second half? Both teams having some good chances and both teams having goals ruled out in that first 45. And Western United, considering they've got three of their back four who are under the age of 19, are doing a fantastic job holding off in that first 45 minutes. Plenty to dissect in that first half. Grace Gill and Robbie Thompson.
Thank you, Zappers. Yes, let's have a look at the half. Harvey Norman highlights. And it all started pretty well, Grace, for Melbourne Victory, with Jake Brimmer starring and the home side right on top.
Yeah, certainly felt as though Victory had their foot on the ball, certainly had more possession, more touches moving forward. They looked the more likely. This is the one that was bundled into the back of the net by Western United, only to be scratched offside. Here's a look at the line there. And perhaps Western on that occasion getting away with one. And after that, fair to say, they built themselves back into the game.
Yeah, Jake Brimmer with his set pieces was the biggest threat in that first half, getting closer and closer. But it was, as you say, Grace, at this stage of the match where they just started to come out of their shells. Angus Thurgate drawing the fine save from Paul Izzo. They too had the ball in the back of the net from a set piece. Peña's ball to the back post. Thurgate nodding at home, and the referee judging that there was a foul there on Paul Izzo, I suspect from Michael Roos.
Not too much contact in it, but nonetheless enough to be deemed a free kick. But it really was Western United who did start to look more lively as the half wore on. This, you'd say, perhaps the best of the chances in open play from Melbourne Victory, where they've really struggled to create.
And if it was Brimmer at one end with the set piece as well, Western United have their own free kick threat in Daniel Peña, who sent that one fizzing over the crossbar. The half-time stats, well, shots very even despite possession very much in Victory's favour. Both sides with just the two on target. Victory with more of the ball, so more touches, more chances. Western United doing more of the defending. But overall, you'd have to say a fairly even match of football, as the score would suggest at the break. One of the star performers in that opening half was the number 22 for Melbourne Victory, Jake Brimmer. It's been a while since we've seen him in this position that's normally the domain of Zinedine Mashash this season with Melbourne Victory.
Yeah, well, he looks like he's having a lot of joy, a bit more freedom further up the field. He's getting himself on the ball in good positions. We've seen a couple of shots he's managed to fizz away, and of course the set pieces as well. Jake Brimmer is always an option, whether it's a corner or a free kick. Well, he'll be standing over the ball. But he has got a couple of shots away in open play too, which is a really dangerous prospect for Melbourne Victory, who are largely struggling to create in those moments.
Well, let's have a look at the Paramount Plus Player Index midway through this midweek Isuzu Ute A-League contest. And at the moment, as you can imagine, it's the defenders who are leading the way. Miranda da Silva Guerrier, and how about that on debut for Koda Kador, the 20-year-old making his first ever A-League appearance. at left back, and Hewitt Bell, who was player of the match last time out. But it's Roderick Miranda. This was a fantastic pass for Nishan Velupillay. He's the leader at the back, Grace.
Yeah, he is. And I think the Paramount Plus player index, the fact that Roderick Miranda and other defenders are featuring there, speaks to the kind of game we're seeing. There's a lot of action in the defensive thirds and not too much being really pushed out of the other ends of the field. But Miranda, well, time and time again, he's just sort of the linchpin at the back of the park for Melbourne Victory. Really good, experienced leader, and picking apart passes like that one will make him pretty impenetrable.
Well, they may be failing to score, but they're not conceding too many goals either. One player who's not out there at the back is Adama Traore, who's just struggling with a little hamstring strain at the moment, but he's been kind enough to join Michael Zapponi during half-time in Amy Park. Zappers.
He has indeed. Thanks, Robbie. Adama, we'll ask you about the hamstring first. Injured against MacArthur, but you're not too far from coming back. How's the rehabilitation going?
Oh, it's going well. I'm just ticking the boxes every day, and I started with the training with the team, so I'm feeling good. Hopefully, a few more days, and then I should be back.
And potentially, we might see you here at Amy Park on Sunday.
Well, I hope so. As I said, I'm ticking the boxes every day, and hopefully I can be back on Sunday.
Now, we've seen Melbourne Victory play so well this year. Haven't lost many games, just the one. But obviously there's a sense that you need to start converting some of those draws into wins. Is that something that you talk about as a club, as on the training pitch? What are you doing differently?
Yeah, of course, we've been playing some great football and creating so many chances. I think it's up to us to start punishing a team, Like this game, we are under control right now. We just have to make sure we don't cop a counter behind, and hopefully we'll get many chances and then score a few more.
And I've just seen Daniel Arzani come on the pitch. Looks like he'll come on at half-time. He's the type of player that can create those chances.
Oh, he's the kind of player that I like to take players one-on-one, and I hope he will come in and then deliver for us.
Thanks for joining us, and good luck. We hope to see you out there on Sunday.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Adama Traore joining us for the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Don't forget, plenty of football coming up here across the screens of Paramount Plus and Network 10. The Matildas are in action as well on Saturday as they take on Uzbekistan as they fight for a place at the Paris Olympic Games as well. Plenty more coming up right after this from Amy Park.
Caitlin Ford takes over. Still going. What a run! Brilliant individual goal. Fowler, it opens up for the shot. Oh, Mary Fowler! What a goal! They're queuing up in the middle. Carpenter, who sets the bar so high for the Matildas.
second half coming. Welcome them back on the pitch. Your boys in blue, let's make some noise.
Welcome back to Amy Park, and as you can see, there is one substitution at the break, and it's an exciting one if you're looking for goals, because Daniel Arzani is that type of player. He comes on to replace Nishan Velupillay, who was not his normal exuberant self, but certainly Daniel Arzani, who came in for was the unknowing centre of a post-match press conference storm after the Melbourne derby. Unwittingly, wasn't directly involved, but became part of Tony Popovich folklore on the weekend. Well, now he gets to show what he can do in this second 45 minutes and try and create that elusive goal, which has, well, it's hard to see where it would come from if not from a set piece in that first half, Grace Gill.
Well, that's exactly right, and I don't think it was a matter of if, but when we'd see Daniel Arzani tonight. It's a sign of intent from Tony Popovich, an attacking player coming on. You know that Arzani's capable of picking apart a defence and knitting together some handy passes. His teammate Adama Traore at halftime spoke about how he's that kind of player, loves to take people on one-on-one, size them up, and no doubt we'll see that, exactly that from Arzani.
He produced the best moment of the first half at the derby, as that's a good ball from Thurgate for Wales. Pena, the little 1-2, and it's well defended by Negro. Thurgate again. Well, that has clattered into Noah Botic, his own player. I don't think it was going anywhere near on target either, as Falami comes up and he's just bundled over by Stephen Lustica. He claims that despite his foul, Shamoon had the ball, so perhaps it should have been play on. Now it was from a little more towards the sideline perhaps, but from this kind of angle, the Brimmer delivered a couple of dangerous balls into the box in that first half, one of which ended up in the back of the net. Here he comes again, back post towards Guerrier. That one just stretching a little too far.
A little too much distance on that one. At very best, Guerrier would have been able to nod that back centrally. A bit too much pepper behind the free kick. This will be interesting just to see the setup of Victory. It's not Rowley, the standalone striker, but he starts to jog back into shape as well. As Thomas Hewitt-Bell just pushes his players forward.
Playing out from the back there as Ryan Teague wins the header. It's one for Fornaroli to chase. He hasn't seen too much of the football, Bruno. He's got that left hand heavily strapped and protected. There was a plate put in there a week ago, last Tuesday, after he fractured a bone in his hand the week before last in the 1-0 loss to MacArthur. It was pretty much a match to forget for Bruno as well, and you can't say that too often this season. He's had the most remarkable campaign. Arzani back with Negro. Arzani again manages to find space for the cross. It's cleared as far as Botic. Now Pena. Clever anticipation, releasing Wales. This is good football on the counter-attack from Western United. Can they find a dangerous final ball? Wales, oh, it's not a bad idea. The cutback, but Pena had stopped. Thurgate, though, has it straight back as Monge is dispossessed too easily on the edge of his own area. Fornaroli's touch. Now he gets it back. The Socceroo with De Silva coming forward. That's going to be overhead. Runs away from Falami.
It was good counter-attacking play from Western United. The speed in which they looked to transition up the other end. I was asking a few questions of Melbourne Victory's defence. Ultimately, they did manage to deal with it. But it's those moments, those little bright spots from Western United that they're relying on, hitting on the counter, hitting on transition, and that one did look sharp.
Bruno Fornaroli had just 8 touches of the football in that first half and still managed to have one effort cleared off the line by Kane Vidmar. See him trying to get involved. That's his style, all action, putting pressure on players. Great hold-up player as well. Wales with Shamoun. Back with Tomoki Imai. Pena. He's gone straight past Jason Guerrier. Not that often you see Jason Guerrier beaten that comfortably. Lovely deception from Daniel Pena.
That was a silky customer, isn't he? Just a little feint through the legs. He knew exactly what he was doing there. And the late contact from Miranda. Referee Jonathan Barrero looked to play advantage, but ultimately called it back.
And now another set piece for Western United. Just as it was with Brimmer delivering the in-swinger from the far side. Will it be Pena doing likewise, or will Lockie Wales look to curl this one in with his right boot? It is Wales. It invites Paul Isuzu to come forward, and he claims it.
That's assertive goalkeeping. Not a bad free kick, but Paul Isuzu was off his line early. Just really commands his 6-yard box, does Paul Isuzu. Explains why he's having the kind of season he is. Makes it really clear at the back for his defenders exactly what he's doing, where you can expect his centre halves to be, and vice versa.
Ruse uses Pena as a decoy run. Well played, Stefan Negro. Here's Teague. Guerrier with Miranda. Second time this evening we've seen a fantastic diagonal ball, this time for Falami. Gets the cross in. Fornaroli was there. Teague. Once again, Melbourne Victory early in this second half, setting up camp in Western United's half of the field. Monge. Darting one way then the other, but confronted by a wall of white and green and black.
Victory using the width well, but just struggling to penetrate through the middle of the field. Haven't really found the feet of Bruno Fornaroli all that much. Perhaps Azani can be helpful in unlocking that.
Puts the ball in. They've taken a little deflection on the way through, claimed by Hewitt Bell. Another quick release from the Western United keeper, and that's a great ball for Noah Botic. Is this the moment for Western United? Botic! Well, instead of finishing, he tried to go around Paul Isuzu. Fantastic transition play again from Western United.
Well, once more, it's exactly that. The counter-attacking play. The pass from Pena was perfect. The weight, the shape, the direction of it, but Noah Botic had to get that shot away first. The angle wasn't there to go around Paul Isuzu, especially at the speed he was travelling. He made life very difficult for himself. That's a prime opportunity.
They may have another here. with Lockie Wales. In it comes, oh, and that was heading in, curling underneath the crossbar, so that's clearly something they've worked on to try and pack numbers into that 6-yard box and then fire the ball in there. Izzo and De Silva. They've invited the press again. Vidmar wins the header over Fornaroli. Shamoon with Thurgate.
Well, that's well worked by Western United. It was the high press from the victory goal kick that saw them win back possession a little more comfortably, and now they can perhaps enjoy a spell themselves.
It's a good turn from Thurgate. Inviting Pena forward. Good release for Botic this time. He goes round Izzo, and Botic rolls the ball into the back of the net, but the flag is up for offside. Well, he got it right this second time, but unfortunately, the timing was off.
Well, right through the middle, this pass, well, the pass was timed to perfection. It was just the run of Botic. He lost his line. That touch, he did get right. Around Paul Izzo, an easy pass into the back of the net. But when you're receiving a straight pass through like that, you've got to be so aware of your body in space, your players around you. You've got to say as well, for Melbourne Victory, that's a disciplined defensive line to hold their shape.
Well, he had the ball in the back of the net against Newcastle, where it looked a very, very tight offside call, and it went in his favour. Look out, here's Fornaroli at the other end with Arzani. Daniel Arzani using the dummy runs. Arzani still. Negro, ball to the back post. Fornaroli's there. Good header from Shamoon. Falami. Falami still. Guerrier. The ball bouncing around, ricocheting around. It's going to be an attacking throw. And we're going to have a double change. So, second and third changes for Melbourne Victory. Fabian Monge making way. As Jordi Valadon comes in, and Stefan Negro comes off for Connor Chapman. And what will be a straight swap at right back. Already 3 changes for Tony Popovic. To bring a goal, and we've seen that when they do commit numbers forward, Western United can hurt them on the counter-attack. Imai long this time. Botic can only find Miranda. Shabel Shamoon's got himself in a little bit of a tangle there with Falami. Valadon with his first touch with Fornaroli. Chapman with Arzani. Arzani, that's a great little flick pass for Valadon. The comeback, Fornaroli! Oh, so close. Well, that's the type of action that Victory were slamming away in the first part of the season.
So much better from Melbourne Victory there. Nice passage of play. They did find the feet of Bruno Fornaroli as a result. It just slightly pulled Western United out of shape. Then the ball out wide. Nice little touches too.
Here's T. Is this going to spark a little period of attack and a little bit more endeavour, a little bit more risk perhaps from Melbourne Victory? Arzani, strong challenge, Cador. Now Wales, looking to get away from Connor Chapman. Rides that challenge. Pena now. Ball back for Wales, who's still tugging and pulling with Connor Chapman. They've basically been arm in arm for about 75 metres there up the field.
Well, the fresh legs of Connor Chapman up to the task. Lachie Wales always full of running. But Tony Popovic turning to his bench earlier than John Aloisi.
Fornaroli, Arzani opening up down that right-hand side. Chapman joining in. Arzani's cross. That's taken. That's a big deflection. Everyone appealing for it. Well, it's been given as a goal kick in the end, which is what Western United were appealing for. Certainly off the boot, it looked like a corner. There are the Melbourne Victory substitutes. Salim Khalifi there alongside Adama Traore. Rolly Bonavancia, the newest signing to Victory. Lustica. That's a good ball for Roos. Roos still going. Gets it back again now, Pena on the left foot. Oh, what a finish! Daniel Pena rifling the ball into the bottom right-hand corner of the goal from just outside the box. And the Brazilian strikes again. And Melbourne Victory's best defence in the land is breached again at home. And Western United going to continue their fantastic record against their crosstown rivals.
Well, it certainly felt like it had been building on the Harvey Norman replay, and it doesn't take him much. Daniel Pena, a little moment of magic. The first touch sets himself up nicely. The second touch gets the shot away so quickly. Brilliant technique, finds the bottom corner. And a moment of individual brilliance is separating these two teams.
It's like a coiled spring that just burst into action on the edge of the area. We get to see that celebration again. Now, has he hurt himself in the celebration?
It did look as though he came off a little awkwardly, I've got to say. I'm sure much to the horror of John Aloisi.
Oh, is that the right quad or no, the right ankle? Well, Melbourne Victory supporters, obviously, and players don't like it much. He's pointing to the watch, Jonathan Barrero, saying, I've got that covered. Well, I wonder just when exactly that happened. Take nothing away from the strike, which was a really brilliant strike that gave Izzo no chance from the edge of the area. Now is it there?
Landing here. As he comes down, you can see he hobbles for a moment, hawks it off, continues the celebration. But concerning signs for Daniel Pena after what was a superb finish.
Well, Michael Zapponi is down there on the sidelines for us this evening. Zappers, can you see if there's any real concern for Pena down there?
Well, yeah, it does seem to be a bit of concern. Hayden Fox is having a chat to a couple of the substitutes, but I think he'll be fine. I think it's just some game management, let's call it that, Robbie, but he was outstanding in this finish and followed up from a fantastic weekend. He took his penalty beautifully on the weekend in their win as well with that Panenka, and he's a class player. He has been a fantastic since we've seen him in the A-League, and what an addition to this Western United squad.
Absolutely. Those 11 assists with the Newcastle Gents 2 seasons ago. You could hear the Victory fans all cheered when they saw how he injured himself when he fell off or hopped back off the advertising boarding. And just nursing that right ankle. He's still walking a little gingerly at the moment. Now there are more substitutes coming on the way. We can see Zinedine Mashash is down there on the sideline. Now Zappa's told us at half-time that there were a few boos around the ground when the half-time whistle blew after another scoreless 45 minutes. This is not good for Daniel Pena, as Arzani finds Guerrier. Now Brimmer. Back for Arzani. The crowd want him to shoot. Arzani does. Wide of the mark. Western United not happy that they played on there, I think, when Western United were down to 10 men. But Pena can always make his way off, or have stayed off if he's too injured to continue. There we see those changes. So 64 minutes gone, and Zinedine Mashash, who started on the bench for the first time in 18 matches, is on. And so is Matthew Grimaldi, who replaces Daniel Pena. Now that is a blow, and all the more frustrating given the ridiculous nature in which he's injured himself.
Certainly a frustrating one for the coaches, for the team as well.
There's Roos. And he'll run all night. And he's causing Melbourne Victory a few problems at the back. It was his assist, of course.
Yeah, he's continued to make a nuisance of himself as well. You can see every time Paul Izzo gets on the ball and looks to make a quick break, it's Michael Roos who's there, getting in his space, just slowing things down. Obviously a tactic that they've had a look at throughout the week.
The corner whipped in by Lockie Wales. Ryan Teague's header is not a good one. Izzo couldn't get there. Now that's a real let-off again for Melbourne Victory at the back. There's Mashash charging forward. That's brilliant play from Mashash. And how about the touch from Jordi Valadon? His cross for Arzani. Players slipping and sliding. Players being bundled out of the way. The intensity's just gone up a couple of notches. Fornaroli with Arzani again. Chabel Shamoun didn't get the call, but he was all alone at the back.
Yeah, Shamoun needs some communication there from his teammates.
Taken quickly. Guerrier with Arzani again. The cross in is brilliant. And Roderick Miranda so close to an equaliser. Brilliant stop from Hewitt Bell. Intensity on the pitch has gone up a couple of notches. The volume in the stands has gone up a couple of decibels as well. There's Connor Chapman arriving. Valadon back outside with Teague. Arzani so comfortable on the ball, turning Grimaldi one way then the other. Still Arzani needs support, finds it in the form of Teague. Valadon. De Silva back outside with Connor Chapman. They've worked it all around the periphery. Now they need something cutting through the middle, and it's come from the head of Fornaroli straight at Tom Hewitt-Bell again.
Well, two good saves in as many minutes from Hewitt-Bell, and had to be as well. That's a fantastic glance-in header at the near post. Really tricky rather for a goalkeeper to see in amongst traffic, but he's held on to that well.
They're coming forward again now. Wales does well. The overlapping run from Cador. The cross to the back post, just behind and out for a goal kick.
Just these moments of quality. Had Cador got that cross to an isolated Michael Roos at the far post, Victory players were a little far away. It would have been an open goal.
Izzo sends long. Great play back to goal from Bruno Fornaroli, being fouled by Tomoki Imai. Western United players trying desperately to allow the ball to roll and continue as we see the foul. It was a great first touch from Fornaroli. Arzani. Now one for Mashash. He and Arzani have a great understanding with been Mashash who's benefited most. How about that for Kador? Pumped up for his first ever A-League appearance.
Understandably so, the young player can be really proud of his performance so far. He's held himself in great esteem.
So Stephen Lustica is the next player to make way. It'll be Reece Bozanovsky who's coming on. There's still Nikita Rukavitsia on the bench in terms of the recognised names, and then it's really the kids. James York, Zach Lizolajski and Luke Vickery, the three players remaining on the bench, along with reserve keeper Matt Sutton. Lizolajski, who's played the last 4 matches, including a start in the 2-0 loss to Wellington Phoenix. I mentioned James York made his debut against Western Sydney. Jordan Lawton against Sydney FC in Hobart. So many youngsters. Koda Kador this evening. Here he is, down that left flank, growing in confidence. Looking for the return ball from Botic, who straightens up. Here's Teague. Well, they look for Arzani, don't they? He skips away from challengers. Daniel Arzani, big switch of play for Falami. He gets there, and he's somehow managed to win a corner. And it's taken quickly. Falami again. They have to set themselves. Western United. Valadon with De Silva. Well, they take it quickly, but they don't get it set. They don't get their 2 best headers of a football in Miranda and De Silva forward into the box against the side that have conceded more set-piece goals than any other team in the competition.
Well, it's a balancing act as well. He's taking it quickly, catching Western United a little off guard. Just dictates the tempo of the game. But if you're not set and ready with your players in there, then it defeats the purpose. You can already see Western United really looking to slow things down. Still 20 minutes to play, so plenty of football to be played yet. But those tactics starting to come into play a little as well.
Here's Guerrier. Fornaroli looking for and winning the free kick, takes it quickly. Jason Guerrier. Mashash wanted it short inside that inner left channel. It's another corner, and again you can see Arzani this time telling Guerrier not to take it quickly, to just wait. Corner number 6 for Melbourne Victory, and this time they do take it short. Arzani takes over. That's a good tackle from Michael Roos. It's gone out though. You can see the coaching staff asking Arzani, next time, let's make sure we get the ball in the box. Mashash with Chapman. Now Miranda. Good switch of play. Arzani's control is good against Shabal Shamoun. On to the right, Guerrier. Back looking for Mashash. He's done well, a little bit of tugging on the arm perhaps, and that's what the referee saw.
There's a great deal in it, but just enough to get in the way of Shamoun. Mashash will feel a little hard done by. I thought it was a really good physical challenge. But again, this will just be a moment for Hewitt Bell to slow things down. There's a couple of Western United players getting a bit of pickle juice on this near side.
Well, after the season they have had, Western United, they are now less than 20 minutes away from back-to-back wins here at Amy Park. And perhaps their season is still alive. They do have that game in hand against Adelaide as well. That was postponed. They may get to play that at their home ground of Tarneet as well, and it might be a very important match if they can string together a few wins when you see that sides above them are just starting to falter a little bit, and some big names as well. Western Sydney are struggling to string the results together. Melbourne City are, Melbourne Victory, sides that are dropping down the ladder. Others, like Perth Glory, are climbing. Can Western United emulate that? There's the league table as it stands with these 3 points. They will still be 4 points adrift of Newcastle, but form is everything. They'll have 10 matches left to play after this one.
Absolutely, and until Friday night and that result against Newcastle, Western United hadn't won a game in over 60 days. So tonight, another win would be going back-to-back for the first time the entire season. In terms of form and momentum, it's a really difficult thing to play against.
And with the kids at the back as well. James Donachie is missing for 3 weeks. He serves the first of a 3-game suspension. Oh, that's a great early ball. Oh, Fornaroli's touch was heavy and not decisive enough. He looks at the offending boot, Bruno Fornaroli, as though it somehow let him down. Great ball from Jordi Valadon across the face. Arzani has won it back. I think he's got a little bit of a cramp, Bruno Fornaroli. He's just pulled the socks down to try and release a bit of the pressure.
That's a brilliant, brilliant delivery from Valadon. Hewitt Bell off his line well, had to be, just disrupted things enough.
It's a great turn from Mashash. Fornaroli still. He faked to give the return ball to Mashash and then tried to fashion space for the shot. There was none. Botic, he's done well, just forces Roos wide. Roos, the early cross is a great one. And Noah Botic, perhaps just realising he wasn't going to get there, just fell under the ball.
A rather bewildering one there from Noah Botic. Disappeared into thin air. The ball, yes, had a little height about it, but surely he would have challenged, you'd think, just to try and get something of it. You never know what can happen in those moments. Perplexing one there for Botic.
Well, unless our camera angle is completely deceiving, it looked like that was there for the challenge. Now, Chris Economides has just replaced Ben Fulami. That's a good ball from Economides. For Arzani, rides the challenge of Wales. Crosses back, Fornaroli's there, surely! Oh, it's been missed somehow by Economides. How close was that? And Melbourne Victory are going to throw everything at Western United now.
Well, by the finest of margins. The glancing header off the back of Fornaroli's head. And again, how Economides just didn't throw anything, something at that, just a touch on the ball.
Well, he's still looking for his first goal, but that is 2 chances in 60 seconds at either end of the pitch, where you thought, surely this is going to end up in the back of the net. Now, obviously, if no player gets a touch on it, then it can't have an XG, so that's a couple of big XGs gone begging there, as here's Mashash. Arzani now. He hits it across the face of goal. Oh, Mashash is there again and can't get the touch. They can't quite believe it at the moment.
Well, Arzani can only look on in disbelief. Good positive first touch. The deflection, a heavy one at that. Well, it looked to be a deflection. Good head in the hands for Arzani. How he wonders how one of these strikes, one of these opportunities hasn't found its way into the back of the net.
Well, they were left wondering how they hadn't got something from that 1-0 loss, the first of the season against MacArthur after 15 matches undefeated. It's taken them to fall behind here at home to Western United. There you see it, 7 shots to 2 in this second half. Damien De Silva, who's a fairly mild-mannered Frenchman, just had a little word or two there to Jonathan Barrero. It did look as though he just led with the elbow a little bit. Michael Roos is staying down. De Silva's defence of that foul, I think he was saying that he got his head on the ball and that he was the only one jumping. It has been, so far, a frustrating evening. The XG is very much in Melbourne Victory's favour. Nearly a full goal in their favour. 13 shots to 9, 4 on target to 3. But for the moment, Western United are showing plenty of character. They've been in matches all season. It's the result that hasn't been going their way. Perhaps the tide is turning.
Dispute the contact. You could see the lead in elbow. Damien De Silva just clipping the back of the head from Michael Roos, who's worked exceptionally hard all evening.
That's illustrated by those 18 duels that he's been involved in. He's a physical player that likes to get involved. Now, Cador trying to take on Chapman. Roos leads the way in terms of total duels in this contest, nearly twice as many as next best Noah Botic and Koda Cador. Thurgate trying to shield the ball away. Mashash gets a toe on it for Falami. That's a good ball for Teague. Space on the right-hand side. Excellent challenge in the middle of the park from Bozanovski. They're preparing another change, Western United, as Miranda finds Guerrier. Back with Teague. Here's Valadon. De Silva for Teague again. They need some penetration. Valadon. Oh, looking for too much, and Cador asking where the talk was. They've conceded another corner.
A couple of times now, Western United just lacking that communication at the back. Led to conceding a corner.
In it comes from Arzani. De Silva was there. Economides keeps it alive. Delivers it back in. Good header, Imai. De Silva picking himself up off the turf, and then Roos hooks the ball away. And a race between the kids, Valadon and Bozanovski. The throw went Victory's way. Arzani hurdling challenges, the little 1-2 with Mashash. It's well played. Arzani with Mashash again. Oh, and it just got caught up under his feet and then spilled out. And that's Roos again with Roderick Miranda this time. Guerrier. Economides with Valadon. 8 minutes left, plus stoppages. Mashash with Arzani. Arzani driving it in. Vidmar. It bounces off Chapman. And now away to safety. Roos. Good pace from Roderick Miranda.
It's just measured experience defending. Miranda stepping in front, using his frame well.
Flag stays down on Connor Chapman. Arzani, it's a good first-time ball for Neroli again. Well, he couldn't get over it. He was leaning back. He leapt towards the ball. And it was a hard one. The chances are there, though. They keep coming. Substitutions for Western United. So James York is coming on for Michael Roos, who has cramp for Lizzo. Just trying to lift him up and get him off the pitch. Izzo not impressed. The referee is there. He's got the situation under control. Noah Botic is also making way, so it's the two strikers who have worked very, very hard. Nikita Rukavica and James York, the two players coming on. York for just his second ever A-League appearance, a month after his debut off the bench against the Western Sydney Wanderers. It's another 19-year-old on, and of course Rukavica at the other end of his career now. Comes on for his 9th appearance, the former Socceroo with Western United. And they'll be here mostly to do some defending, even if it is from that front line position. Bozanovsky back, here's York. First touch of the football with Lockie Wales. Wales decides to take on Connor Chapman. There's been a bit of a collision off the ball involving Zinedine Mashash and Angus Thurgate. Five minutes to go, plus stoppages, of which there will be a few minutes, you'd think, after the couple of delays and injuries we've had, including to the goal scorer Pena. Arzani, it was a great first touch to bring it down, but again it was that second or third touch that just got away from him a little bit.
Secondary touch, just a little heavy. Again, Miranda, great distribution all evening. That first touch, excellent. The second, and well marshalled, you've got to say as well, from Koda Kador. He's had a big evening on his hands looking after that flank of Victory attacking players.
The Paramount Plus player index sees the goal scorer, the match winner for the moment, with 3.5 minutes left. Daniel Pena leading the way. Roderick Miranda is there. Hewitt Bell, who's holding on to that second clean sheet in as many matches after conceding 33 in the first 16 of the season. Mashash again wrestling with Thurgate. Rukavica gives it away, a little too casual. I think this Thurgate has caught someone in the crowd there. He's asking the ref to take a moment so he can just go and check if that little girl's okay on the sidelines. Now Guerrier. Football hit at that kind of speed can do some real damage. Let's hope she's all right. The header from Shamoun away. Grimaldi trying to run down the clock, but he just ran into trouble. Teague. The left foot cross is not a bad one. Arzani! Oh! Well, he's not known for his headering of the football, and that one wasn't too far away.
That was a great lead from Arzani. The delivery as well was fantastic to the far post. Hang time was excellent. Just couldn't redirect it on target, on frame, but I tell you, if he had Hewitt Bell beat on that occasion. But at the moment, Victory have Western United well and truly pinned in. Every time United just try and slow things down and find an outlet and relieve a bit of pressure. Victory are pushing back up the other end.
Melbourne Victory's supporters behind the goal continuing to try and cheer on their side, encourage them to keep going. Having seen so many last-minute equalisers steal the 3 points away from them, can they return the favour this evening? Miranda. They are staring down the barrel of a second defeat in 3 matches, of 7 matches without victory, having gone the first 15 games of the season without defeat. The ball in. And how about the turnaround? We've seen sides, when they look to have hit rock bottom, turn things around. Just look at Perth Glory. This week, Western United had 8 players, contracted first-team players, missing through injury and suspension. They got Lustica back. As the ball in, the header from Rukavitsia. It's going to be another corner. John Aloisi's been forced to dip into the academy to give kids an opportunity they wouldn't have otherwise had. And Daniel Pena has got the goal that, for the moment, sees them climbing to 14 points. They may still be bottom, but there's a pulse. Shamoon with the header away. Economides. Guerrier with Valadon. Jordi Valadon, oh, it's a loose pass.
7 minutes of added time, 7 minutes.
And frustration, but he's only a youngster himself. They're going to learn from all these moments. You can't put it all on the shoulders of these kids. It's such a fantastic part of what the A-League is. These youngsters given their opportunities. We ask for it, so we have to support them when they're out there.
Spot on, and you've got to say for both sides, but particularly Victory, the substitutes have made a real impact. Valadon has been part of that. Shash, Azani, Chapman just shoring things up. That pass from Valadon, though, just indecision. You could see he was looking for the forward pass and last minute tried to find Azani.
Oh, talk about Azani. Here he goes again. Mashash, the cross to the back post, Fornaroli. He brings it down, it's a nice control. Victory. Fornaroli trying to go straight through Chabel Shamoon. Can't do so. Grimaldi. Too much pace for the tired legs. Oh, he's done well. Gets back to his feet and goes again. Miranda's hurt himself. Oh, and he invited the challenge from Connor Chapman.
How about this run from Matt Grimaldi? I've seen Miranda just getting clipped on the ankle there.
Oh, his own player, I think.
Yep, that one hurts. A good physicality, good energy from Grimaldi shown to hold possession and just eat away at a few of these minutes or a few of these seconds.
It's nicely worked. Space for Miranda. 7 minutes of stoppage time. Pings the ball out to Economides. Chris Economides, if ever they needed him to show his quality. The ball to the back post. Arzani again towards Fornaroli. And well, he raises his arms as if, what could I do?
Oh, it's teasingly close. And again, Arzani getting up for an aerial challenge, nods across the face of goal. And at that point, just anything, any touch on the ball, a toe.
It was very well defended. Thurgate was back. What a game that youngster's had on debut. They started a bit nervy. There have been a couple of moments, as you'd expect. But he's got a bit of warrior about him at the back. Koda Kador alongside Kane Vidmar and Charbel Shamoun. 3 kids alongside captain for the night, Tomoki Imai, becoming just the 2nd Western United player to make 100 A-League appearances for the club behind Connor Payne. Lockie Wales is just 3 off now this evening. He'll be next as the club writes their history, and this will be a little punctuation mark in that history against Melbourne Victory. They love playing Melbourne Victory. Imai imploring his teammates to keep giving everything to hold on to these 3 points and a 4th straight win against the Navy Blue. In it comes. Oh, Hewitt Bell came and didn't get there. Economides with Valadon. He chips it back in. The header from York. Kane Vidmar thought about taking off, thought better of it. Heads back. Teague, it's come off his head. No free kick. Lockie Wales just wants to check the pressure of the ball.
Well, they've defended with some serious heart here, have Western United. They've been peppered. Crosses coming into the box. Arzani whipping them in, just trying to find the head of Fornaroli. Mashash, physical challenges up against Thurgate.
Teague's nod down, along with Mashash. It's repelled one more time. Roderick Miranda. For Arzani. Arzani lifts it back post. Mashash is there! He's got it! It's De Silva! Daniel De Silva! With a crucial goal! And Western United can't hang on. And Melbourne Victory turned the tables on their recent history. And it's them that net a stoppage time equaliser.
On the Harvey Norman replay, a long sweeping cross from Daniel Arzani to the far post. Damien De Silva rises above the rest. Uncontested late in the game. Down but not out. This Melbourne Victory side has some serious grit. And they pull one back in the dying moments of this game. That's a composed header, that's an experienced header taken by De Silva, and what a moment.
A 3rd A-League career goal for Damien De Silva. Melbourne Victory's Player of the Year last season. The former Olympique Lyonnais and Stade Rennais defender. Now is their time for something really special. Either way, we're into the 97th minute. There may be 1 or 2 more added on. Arzani. Arzani again over the top for Valadon. Kane Vidmar can only concede another corner. The corners that have proved their undoing so often this season. And now, in the 97th minute, they have to hold firm. The Victory fans have found their 2nd win. In it comes. De Silva's there again. Bodies falling everywhere. Guerrier gets it back, goes down in the area. Gets straight back to his feet as the crowd cry for a penalty. Economides against Thurgate. Fornaroli goes into the book for his remonstrations.
Well, there was a scrap, there was traffic everywhere. You can see Kadua just hesitate on the clearance, wanting to kick into another player. And that's experience from Angus Thurgate there, just using his body really well. He knew he'd have pressure, he knew he'd have contact.
Yellow card for Fornaroli. Is there going to be time for one more chance? The referee, Jonathan Barrero, just looked at his watch as Ryan Teague comes forward. Economides, it's a good touch for Mashash. The cross, Arzani's there. De Silva! He's done it! 2 goals in 3 minutes. The veteran French defender has broken the hearts of John Aloisi and Western United. And victory in the most unlikely of circumstances are surely back in the winner's circle.
Well, surely in the last kick of this game and on the Harvey Norman replay, John Aloisi can only sit down as Melbourne Victory fans are on their feet. Damien De Silva streaming forward, finds himself again in the far post, and this time with a side-footed finish, make no mistake. That one rockets into the back of the net. And what a dramatic finish.
Well, you have to feel for John Aloisi and his young players. They have got their 800th A-League goal, and numbers 799 and 800 belong to Damien De Silva, the second A-League side to reach that milestone after Sydney FC. What a dramatic finish to this contest. Is there time? There was barely time for what preceded it. So is there any more? There isn't. Victory have stopped the rot. Victory have ended their hoodoo against crosstown rivals Western United, but only just. Only just. Damien De Silva, the 36-year-old Frenchman, Daniel Arzani off the bench with a couple of assists. And you can see, as much as anything, the relief on the faces of Melbourne Victory players who climb. They climb back up alongside the Central Coast Mariners on 31 points. And poor old Western United, they thought it was going to be their night. They thought until the 96th minute that it was going to be their night. But you can't take your eyes off the ball in this league. And the craziness continues on another dramatic night at Amy Park. The Frenchmen celebrate. They celebrate for Melbourne Victory as it finishes here. The home side, Victory, and Damien De Silva 2. Western United 1. Well, what a dramatic finish, and poor old Western United as John Aloisi goes round and shakes the hands of his chargers and the opposition players. It's just been that kind of a season. Hayden Fox and John Aloisi with words of encouragement for their kids. But it's experience that held sway, experience that wins the day. And now let's head down to Michael Zapponi.
Yeah, thank you, Robbie. Plenty of experience in this Melbourne Victory side. These are the types of results that can turn a season around. Bruno Fornaroli, you were staring down the barrel of another draw or loss. What changed in the last few minutes?
We believe until the end, and I think we deserve the 3 points. We risk, we try to play different football, try to create chances, and at the end the football play, I think now is a break point for us, and we can't wait to play the next game.
Had a run of a lot of draws. Does this result add to that belief now?
Yeah, of course. We never stop to believe, you know, sometimes football is like this. But what the team showed tonight, we have something different, so we have to believe, we have to keep improving, keep trying to play the best football, and I know the result will come.
And your big defender there coming up, trumps at the back. How was that about?
He's a machine, he's unbelievable. He's not only a good defender, he's a great leader inside and outside the field. So I'm so happy for him, so happy for the team, and now, you know, we have to recover. We have another important game of the weekend.
How's the hand?
It's okay. I will say it's okay. I had surgery last Monday to try to push myself to be as soon as possible. I asked to be in the last derby, but the doctor don't allow me to play. But I push myself to be tonight, so it's great for me. I hit the 90 minutes, so now I will be back soon.
Great to see you back out there. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Lockie Wales, how do you describe the ending to that game for 90 minutes? Looked like you were going to take the 3 points tonight.
Oh, it's pretty heartbreaking, to be honest, Uppers. The young boys did phenomenal tonight. The back three out of the 4 are under 18, just under 20, so 18, 19-year-olds. And for 90 minutes went toe-to-toe to one of the best teams in the league. And that sums up our season, you know. We're there or thereabouts, and